welcome back to our series of top 10 lists. Today we have the top 10 common nightmares and what they mean. But first I want to know, what is the scariest nightmare you've ever had? Let me know down below. I used to have this reoccurring nightmare as a child about the red and the yellow Power Ranger chasing me and trying to tie me up. But all the other Power Rangers, they were helping me. And I never understood this because I used to love the Power Rangers. I was like, no, why are you guys chasing me and trying to tie me up? Well, maybe this list is gonna give me some answers. Starting in our number 10 spot, we have seeing someone who has passed away. If you have a nightmare about being visited by a dead loved one, then that probably means you haven't got over their death yet. And you're probably struggling emotionally to cope with this loss, which is perfectly fine. And while seeing someone in your dreams who's passed away can be scary, it can also be comforting in a sense that this is a sign that they are at peace. So that's not really even a nightmare, is it? However, if you're having an actual nightmare about random or scary people you don't recognize, then this can also be linked with terror of the unknown and anxiety about personal illness. People with terminal or life-threatening health problems can often experience these types of nightmares. At number 9, we have losing your teeth, and this nightmare, it represents anxiety. This nightmare represents having high anxiety in your daily life, a fear of aging or a fear of helplessness, and a lack of control over your everyday life, and it often represents an individual who is filled with anxiety and have a fear they are being constantly judged by their peers based on their physical appearance. And at number 8, we have getting injured, and this nightmare represents being powerless. Dreaming of a limb getting broken, injured, or disfigured often means you are feeling powerless in your day-to-day life. This is actually a way of your brain and body alerting you that you are feeling weakness or vulnerability in one part of your life or another. But the meaning for this nightmare also depends on how you actually get injured. For example, if this injury is self-inflicted, then this can relate to the fact that you can intentionally or accidentally damage your own efforts. But if you dream that someone else has hurt you, then it refers to a situation where you feel cut off or kept down. Actually finding out what your weaknesses are and working towards improving them will often help in relief of this nightmare. And finally, if in your dream you are able to treat your own wound and defend yourself against attackers, then this is considered a positive thing because it shows you can deal with the situation. And at number 7, we have missing important events. So if you have nightmares about missing important events such as graduations, weddings, or parties, this is likely because you are extremely overworked. This is a common nightmare for some people who have a fast-paced or high-pressured life. And this does make sense because when you think about it, these nightmares are often linked to anxiety of failing or someone who has a lot of responsibilities and expectations and would be terrified to forget or fail at something. People who are experiencing these nightmares have often had a lot of suppressed anxiety and negative feelings about letting others down. And at number 6, we have death or dying. If you're having a nightmare about death or dying, it usually represents new beginnings. Now don't get me wrong, death, it's a very scary thing, both in your real life and in your dreams. But when you have a nightmare about you or a loved one dying, it's not necessarily a bad thing. In fact, it's thought to be a symbolic representation of something in your life dying and something else beginning. So basically, dreams about death, they represent rebirth. Dreams of tombs or graves are often represented as a concern that that part of your life has ceased to exist. But as we get older, dreams of death are simply our subconscious accepting mortality and the fact that eventually everyone passes away. In our number 5 spot, we have falling. And this nightmare represents a lack of control in your personal life. These anxieties can often be linked to stress with money, relationships, careers, or even some kind of abuse. So basically feeling like your life is not in balance. It used to be rumored that if you're falling in a dream and you hit the ground, you will die. But this is completely untrue. The feeling of falling to your death relates to you feeling you're unable to control a certain aspect or situation in your life. These nightmares often occur in people who are in high places of power, yet they still feel like they can't control certain parts of their life. But according to experts, if you lose your balance or slip in a dream, this is caused by a change in blood pressure when you enter into unconsciousness. Movement of the inner ear fluid, which helps us to control our balance, could be another factor for us falling in our dreams. And at number 4, we have being trapped or stuck. If you have a nightmare about being trapped, well, basically, it's because you're feeling trapped. When you feel like you have no control over your life or the surroundings or current situations holding you back from achieving your full potential, such as financial problems, a dead-end job, or a negative relationship, then these feelings can manifest into you literally being trapped in your nightmare. Also, these dreams are quite regular for people who suffer from claustrophobia anxiety, which basically means you have a fear of being in small spaces where you are unable to move and you become trapped. And at number 3, we have your partner leaving you or cheating on you. And this nightmare, it represents a lack of trust. Now, not to say that if you have this nightmare you shouldn't trust your significant other, and it also doesn't mean that they are necessarily cheating on you. It just means that there's been a recent incident where you're maybe questioning their actions. But some people will just have a straightforward nightmare that represents a feeling of fear of being alone if their partner leaves them. However, if you do have trust issues with your partner, then this could be a reoccurring dream. Now, no nightmare is a good one to have, obviously, but this one is particularly bad because it can cause insecurity in the relationship, and causes individuals to feel subpar or not good enough for their partner. Okay, so we just covered cheating, but what if you have a dream about your partner leaving? Then this likely stems from feeling abandoned or alienated by someone close to you. It could even be a family member or friend, but maybe they're concentrating their time more towards something else, so you feel cheated of their time. And at number 2, we have being naked in public. So this nightmare usually represents you feeling pretty vulnerable, and it's a common nightmare with a big underlying issue. So if you're constantly suffering from self-image issues or low self-esteem, or you just have a bad day and are feeling vulnerable, self-conscious, or inferior, it is likely you're gonna have a nightmare where you're completely butt naked in a public place where you are completely exposed. Being naked in public exposes the fear of being judged by other people. This can also mean you feel inferior to others, and that you feel people find you to be transparent. However, if in your dream you're naked in public and no one notices you and you're comfortable strolling around in the buff, then that tells you that you have high self-esteem and that you are proud of who you are. Alright guys, so let's recap. We've talked about death, being naked, getting cheating on, being trapped, falling, missing events, injuries, and missing teeth. But this number 1 nightmare, it's actually the most common one of them all. And that brings us into our number 1 spot. We have being attacked or chased. And this nightmare can be related to running away from your responsibilities. As I said, this is by far the most common nightmare. Whether it be a person you know, a group of people, or a one-eyed monster, if you're being chased in your dreams, it's likely because you're avoiding your responsibilities or you're afraid of confronting something or someone in your life. Also, the actions you take within the dream to get away from your attacker may also be influenced by your real life. Take note of your actions within the dream, and it may help you find a similarity between the nightmare and your real life actions that can help you deal with the problem. Well, there you guys have it, the top 10 list of most common nightmares and what they mean. Let me know down in the comments which one you found most fascinating, or if you've ever experienced any of these ones yourself. And also make sure you guys let me know what list you want to hear about next. That's all for now, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye! So make sure you guys like and subscribe for more top 10 lists. We have more videos right over here for you guys, and you guys can follow me on Instagram at Court McGinley. Bye guys!